Seriously, erase your flash drive, SD card, 8-track, whatever you're on, and come in with an open mind, okay? Because, you know, I get questions every day, or I talk to people every day, and they have a multitude of health problems. And I'll ask, well, you know, do you eat healthy? And I always get, oh, yeah. And so give me a typical breakfast. And I'm like, okay, everything you named I would tell you is super unhealthy. So just keep that in mind. It's not just food. It's a lot of things that we're going to talk about tonight. All right? That's the concept I want y'all to think tonight. Now, I'm a pharmacist. I'm not a doctor. I'm not here diagnosing or treating anything. But when you see the stories and you hear the stories that I'll talk about, I mean, they just are what they are, okay? So these people have had these turnarounds of 21 meds and 5 insulin shots a day in 3 or 4, 5 weeks, and their sugar's 200 points lower than it ever was. Those are just the facts. Those are real stories of real people. When you know, so we see those kind of things every week, honestly. My book is in edit phase right now, The 21st Century Pharmacist, and it just talks about how this has all come about. I mean, I went to pharmacy school thinking that I was going to fill prescriptions just like every other pharmacist, okay? I mean, that was the purpose. That was the goal. The purpose was to help people get better. So I soon learned that I didn't feel like I was helping anybody get better. What I kept seeing was people getting the same things over and over, adding another drug, and they never really got any results. So here's the problem. And so here's what we do in America is we rely on treatment, not prevention. We use things after somebody is diagnosed with cancer. We use things after somebody's diagnosed with diabetes. We use things after somebody's diagnosed with obesity or arthritis or whatever it is, right? Or stroke, whatever. We do it after something happens. And then what I find and what I'll teach you is we're given bad information. So I have diabetes and I go through the diabetes training class, and it's no wonder diabetics don't get better. It's clear why they don't get better. When I go through the American Heart Association, American Stroke Association, I look at the stuff and I look at the science and I'm going, doesn't make sense to me. Okay? I mean, the American Heart Association, I don't know if any of you keep up with them, but they just doubled down on their science of eat less coconut oil and eat more corn and soybean oil. Well, guess what all the research shows causes heart disease? The omega-6 fats in these so-called healthy vegetable oils. But they continue to take bad information and say, hey, we got a presidential advisory committee that says do more of this bad stuff, not less. And so when I look at that, it's like, I don't get it, I don't understand it, so you come to your own conclusion. That's what I'll tell you, all right? And then we are, what percent of the world's population? Anybody know? We're a little bit less than 5% of the world's population. 1% of the world's prescription drugs do we take? If you look at research, it's between 50 and 70%. It varies based on year to year. 50 to 70% of the world's prescription drugs. We're less than 5% of the world's population. We're dead last in quality health care in industrialized nations. It's not even close, y'all. We spent in 2013 or 14, $2.7 trillion on what we called health care. $2.7 trillion. That's more than GDP of a lot of countries. Okay, the whole gross domestic product of countries. And for that, we're dead last. So I ask people all the time, am I getting my money's worth? If I'm dead last, but I'm spending the most money, it'd be like, isn't that backwards? Shouldn't I be the best? Shouldn't I be getting the most out of spending that much money? So it's like we're spending the most money, but we're getting the worst results. So I look at that and I go, well, if that's the case, we have to back up and change our thinking, right? Or we have to do something different. Did y'all know that a person dies every 33 seconds of heart disease in America? That 1 in 2 men in this room are going to have cancer in their lifetime. 1 in 3 of you women are going to have cancer in your lifetime. It's not getting better, y'all. It's getting worse. 50% of those over age of 50 have osteopenia or osteoporosis, so softening or beginning of softening of the bones. Over 50 million Americans have osteoarthritis. I mean, and on and on and on. And we got all these diseases, y'all ever heard of IBS? Irritable bowel syndrome? Y'all know what that means? We don't know. We come up with that. So we come up with that. So we just have to, I tell people all the time, I mean, 7 out of 10 Americans are overweight. Almost 4 out of 10 Americans are obese. That's 30 pounds or more overweight. But we keep following the same stuff. And if we keep following the same stuff, y'all know the definition of insanity, right? Same thing over and over, expect a different result. It's not going to happen. You got to make changes to make changes. You got to make changes to make changes. You have to be educated in order to make the best decision for yourself.
Be prepared to listen to something that you've never heard of before and sounds almost crazy. I mean, it does. It sounds a little crazy, you know, and then watch your body, your mind, your whole attitude transform, and it's worth every minute of it.